making anything in the end. But it was just a meme on a light note. But then now when I'm seeing this, I think it was hinting to something which is actually real, because the poison in our food here says the European Union continues to export pesticides it has banned from use within its own borders to African nations, with Kenya being a destination for more than 400 tons of the deadly cancer-causing chemicals, a report by a Swiss-based organization reveals. And I'm seeing here that the specifically banned pesticides include chlordane, which is an insecticide, 2,4,5-T, and this is also a herbicide. I also see chlordimeform, an insecticide, DDT, and of course all these other big names, Endrine, ethylene, and the likes. And then we also see withdrawn from Kenya market. We have some of them that have also been listed there. But I'm seeing here the imports have been in kilos, 473,924,000 kilos of banned chemicals that were imported into the country. This is quite unfortunate. There's a list there that has also been put, and I think this is especially for the farmers who, get to interact with these things, to ensure that maybe their crops are not infested by pests and all that. So I think this is a good feature for farmers to have a look at, because sometimes when we are in the consumption side, we may not necessarily know the process that was ongoing during the harvesting and the planting and all that. So I think this is a good feature even for those farmers who are in that place, so that they can ensure that they are being careful not to sell anything that is poisoned to the people. And I also see here the development sector, first world ambition on track, Malaysia Prime Minister. I also see all eyes now on IEBC as campaigns wind up. 181 candidates are going to be squaring off in this next election, expected to happen in 2027. Page 2, double tragedy. Man who lost home in Mukuru caught up in Makongeni evictions as residents win court reprieve. A story covered on page 2. I also see TSC announces 9,000 vacancies to replace the dead and also retired tutors. So that's what is being reported on the Daily Nation. And coming down to the Standard, I see partisan IEBC. The reconstitution of the IEBC was meant to redeem an electoral agency long tainted by state interference and timid leadership. But days before by-elections seen as a dress rehearsal for the 2027 general election, the commission is already struggling to shake off doubts that dogged its formation. It cleared a UDA candidate despite EACC advice. Some officials have been accused of bias, and the opposition is warning of state-sponsored violence and poll manipulation. Can chairperson Ethacon calm the swirling storm? That's the question. Story covered on 8, 9, 10, and 11 of the Standard newspaper. And of course, here there's a quote by Rigathi Gachagua saying, from the outset, though Kenyans kept quiet, they had every reason to doubt that your Ethacon impartiality in the 2027 general election remain undoubtful. You could have used the November 27 by-election to prove Kenyans and the world otherwise. So still on the IEBC woes, even as all eyes are on them to see how things will go in the next election 2027. The Financial Standard as well has an interesting story here. Ex-energy bosses soft landing as MPs back down. Final report recommends that EACC and DCI conduct further investigation on the ministry and former Kenya power officials away from high-profile figures it had named earlier. Pages 24 to 25 covered on the Financial Standard. And moving on to the Business Daily, banks squeeze savers to grow lending margins by 24 billion shillings. I see lending margins growth hands top 8 banks higher earning. Borrowers miss a proportionate benefit from CBK rate cut. That's a story covered on the Business Daily. Also, World Bank, weak competition in key sectors stifling jobs growth. I also see Copper exports 15,000 Kenya assembled funds to Uganda, and also pension funds nearly double alternative assets to 126 billion shillings. And I also see there's a live pull out here that is covering why elite clubs struggle to attract young Kenyans. This is interesting because you see most of these big clubs, you have like a membership fee of very high cost and all that, but there are other reasons why they struggle to attract young Kenyans. Have a look at that. And I also see Mike Eldon giving us a quote here on intelligence. We will continue learning from Professor Michael Hopkins about CSR and sustainability through his writing. Beautiful right there. So that's it for the newspaper review. You can grab a copy of your favorite and get to know what is happening in our nation, even as we continue to trust God, to keep helping us ahead of the 2027 elections. We got to pray because we have seen things that have happened during elections. We don't want any form of violence or anything not going well. So let us keep praying ahead of the 2027 elections. Let us pray that God will give us godly leaders, the right people, will be seated on those seats so that they can guide and govern this country the way it should go. So you can also tune in to Hope FM at the top of every hour. You can get news updates. I was talking to someone yesterday and they were telling me that, there's this station they tune in for music and then they have to go to another station for news because they love gospel music, but then they need to listen to the news from these other stations. So I'm here to tell you that with Hope FM, we also have news. So that means you don't have to switch. You can always tune in and get the news, a wholesome entertainment and also information that is going to be coming to you. So that's it. And I would love to allow for the video of the day so that we can see what we can learn from it. When we come back, we'll talk about it.